take 2 minutes to introduce yourself?
Yes, Manoj. Thank you, Manoj, and for a great opportunity. And as Manoj mentioned, I stay in Faridabad, and it's a place next to Delhi. And I've been into now. I've started my own. I was working with one of the training and organization from last 20 years, and from last 3 months I have my own, and I'm into teams performance coaching, and I'm coaching some three. I have 3 clients in my hand as of now, and so that is what's there. And I usually work with the teams on their performance.
Okay, good. Welcome. So
Thank
we
you.
have somebody who's as fresh in the game as Vikas, and we have somebody who's been there for centuries, right? So like Gary and a couple of others. So thank you very much, everybody. And today we have invited Rajneesh to introduce the world of ERPs to us. So we're going to spend some time with Rajneesh, and he will take us through the world of ERPs. Some of us are familiar with it, some of us may be partially familiar, and some of us, maybe this would be like a beginning of a new topic for them. That's going to be one of the topic. The second topic is going to be around sales, and we'll talk a little bit more about that after Rajneesh's session. So Rajneesh, are you ready? You're on mute. Rajneesh, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. And will you allow me to share
Yeah.
my
Yeah, it's
screen?
on. It's on now.
Right. Okay.
So you want to just say a line or two about yourself and
Yeah.
take it forward from there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'm an engineer from IIT Roorkee. Then did my MBA from Xavier's Bhubaneswar. I worked for roughly 26 years, 13 of which was with for-profits, 13 of which was with not-for-profits. And so one of my repetitive assignments was basically implementation of ERPs. So now I've started my own consulting company roughly 7, 8 years back, and I'm focusing on business process reengineering. Plus, we also help our clients in selection of ERPs and in implementation of ERPs. Like Manoj said, ERP is a very common term. Some people may know a lot about it, but then within the group, we may also have some people who may not have any idea about ERP. So I am pitching it at people who have no idea. I'm assuming right now that, look, everybody has no idea about ERP. So I'll start with basics. And if there are, if somebody wants to discuss it, or somebody already has some information and wants to take it, we can take it either in the breakout session, or we can take it offline tomorrow. Right. So the first thing is that if we look at the world today, right, technology has changed our world drastically. So some of the things that have happened is, one, technology now has increased the pace as well as the scope of information dissemination. Today we are connected to everybody in the world. If you look at, somebody puts in a tweet and it reaches millions of people within minutes. Right? People can access it. So this is one thing that has happened, and because of it, a lot of transparency has come in, right? And now, as we see with e-commerce, etc., people, we don't even have pockets of information, different pockets of information at different places. For example, today, anybody who's shopping at Amazon in India, or let us say anybody shopping for a jeans, right, can immediately also check that what is the price available online. We want to book our air tickets, we can compare tickets across airlines and then decide which one to choose. So the world has become very, very competitive. And as managers, we are also under a lot of pressure to cut costs, provide better quality, right? Because like I said, I mean, when it is competitive, we just can't rest on saying, look, we can pass on a poor product, or we can pass on a highly priced product. So typically, what do managers need? Managers need dashboards, information systems where they can get live information so that they can take decisions based on the information that they have, not of what had happened, let us say, 1 day back or 1 week back. Second thing is that because the whole world has become competitive, right? We are also, and it's becoming more and more, let us say, riskier, right? There are different kind of risks that a company is exposed to, and there are a lot of compliance requirements. So companies want to reduce their risks. They want to reduce the risk of fraud, right? Because of electronics, now you can have systems, data being hacked, etc. And companies don't like that. So what they need is a software which actually can include all this, and this is where ERP comes in. Unlike other softwares, like for example, if you look at Tally or something, it's basically a financial accounting software. What it does not give you is a workflow. Workflow in the sense that in an ERP, if people can actually submit online expense statements, they can be reviewed and approved online, and the payments can be made online, right? Similarly, if somebody is working in sales, he may develop a proposal for the customer. The manager may review it online, approve it, and then he can email it. So all these workflows, all the necessary approvals, everything is inbuilt in ERP. Right? So that's the reason why this is a software that is lot in demand. And now we are getting more and more software, things like automation, etc., information IoT technologies. But all these technologies are getting layered on the ERPs. ERPs are something that is never going to go away. And when we talk of ERP, that's why what we hear are two terms. We hear configuration and customization. Right. Now, because of the format of this presentation, I take the interviews at the end of it. So please, if you have any queries or something, just write them down and I'll take them in the Q&A answer. It will be more of one-way traffic at this point of time. So like I said, ERPs are complex softwares. They include various kind of policies. So for example, when it comes to issue of inventory, right? Companies may either be going in for FIFO, which is first in, first out. Material that has come in first is issued out first. It could be LIFO, material that came in last is issued out first. And then there are also things like expiry first, right? So there are certain inventory items which have an expiry date and we don't want them to expire. So ERP has a provision to implement all the three options. Now, when the ERP implementer comes in, he looks at what are the options that the company needs, right? For which product do you need FIFO? Are there any products that require LIFO? Are there any products which require expiry out? And they configure the system accordingly. But there could also be scenarios where the company may be doing things differently and hence may require a solution which is only applicable to that company. And this is where customization comes in. The implementer then will add code to the ERP software to make that happen. So we talked about ERPs, we talked about how it's a central database, and that is because it has multiple modules. So initially what had started was people realized that they need accounting, they need information, they need different kind of financial reports. So we had financial accounting packages, like I said, Tally. But then people realized that, look, inventory is very important and they need to monitor that also. So they had softwares to monitor the inventory. And then few companies, what they did was they married the two and they came out with softwares which had both financial application and which also had application to cater to inventory, which could issue material, which could take in material in inventory and churn out reports on inventory valuation, right? How many items are there? What is their value? And they could also churn out data for costing. So these were called material resource planning. And because they were also used for material planning, slowly people included production and quality in it. People included procurement module in it. Right. So the company does its production planning, realizes that what material it is running short of, orders and procures them. Right. Slowly, other modules like human resource module, sales, fixed assets, etc., were also added. Today, there are ERP companies that have also come up with ESG modules, like for example, SAP, Oracle. So they also help companies be ESG compliant. So we talked about different modules, but what does a module contain? Right. So I'll take example of finance and accounts module. So the first thing a finance and accounts module would provide for is accounting policies and standards. So it would have processes that, like I said, that can be configured, but it still would have workflows, etc. For example, if you're doing accrual accounting, then every transaction, there has to be two parts to a transaction. One is accrual of expenses, one is payment of expenses. So the software will be designed accordingly. The other important thing is and this is where ERP is different from other softwares like Tally, etc. It provides roles and access rights. Roles and access rights means that within, let us say, finance and account unit, you have head of the finance department. There could be finance officer, finance executive. There could be manager, general manager. Now, all of them have certain responsibilities and all of them are allowed to do certain tasks. So the role and access sub-module or administration module ensures that people can only log in their account and they can only do things that they've been allowed to do. And this is where ERPs, like I said, they reduce the risk of fraud, they reduce the risk of non-compliance, right? Because if let us say the document has to be approved by the manager, unless the document approves the document, it won't go to the next workflow station, right? While physically, if we see it, we can always skip it. For example, when the material is coming in, and if the requirement is that yes, it has to come in with all the documents, right? Physically, if a document is short, people still take the material in. But in ERP, that would not be possible. So until and unless the document is appended, it may not allow the material to come in. And that's the reason why ERP becomes a pain, because it brings in a lot of discipline. It is actually a change management project than just a software implementation project. So it also allows, like I said, various checks and balances to be built in, right? They could be, so for example, if a certain material is to be procured along with some specifications, right? It can allow those kind of checks and balances to be put in, right? Then within accounting, sometimes we also have a lot of automated transactions that are manual. Like for example, expenses are accrued in the towards the end of a period, and the transactions are reversed in the next period. So these kind of transactions, what we can do is we can configure the ERP to write automated transactions for it. So we write accruals, and the reversal entry is written by the system itself. Similarly, if you want to monitor our payments, so for example, if we have a vendor with whom the credit term is 45 days, and another vendor with whom the payment term is 30 days, and we receive the bills today, we can actually configure it that the payment or the check would be written only after 30 days or 45 days. And then there are accounting segments or chart of accounts. These are basically chart of accounts are nothing but account codes. Accounting segments are things like cost centers, location codes, etc. These are additional details that we can put in to track our financial transactions better. The ERPs are actually classified in various ways. So today we have different kind of ERPs. There are ERPs that are renowned internationally, like SAP, Oracle, BAN, etc., which are used across company, across industries, right? They're used by medium-sized companies. They're also used by larger-sized companies. Then there are ERPs that are only available in certain markets, right? So they could be available at a national level. For example, in India, we have Ramco, we have Unicorps, etc., which are only available in India. And then there are also some local players who also have developed their own ERPs. Now, obviously, when we're talking of different levels, we are also talking of different complexity. So ERPs like SAP, Oracle, they're very complex because they can cater to different kind of industries, different kind of different level of companies. So they try and accommodate as many business scenarios as possible. But if you buy a ERP from a local player, the software may not be very complex. It may not allow certain features. So for example, if there is a financial transaction and you want to kind of reverse it, you may not be able to do that in ERP produced by a local person. Yeah, for example, in SAP, etc. So companies that are dealing with imported material or exports sometimes may require foreign currency transactions. Now, and if you have the balances have to be revalued. I don't know how many people are accountants and understand it. These are some jargon, so I'm sorry. I mean, but I can take them in the question answer session if somebody wants it. So these kind of facilities are available in automatic this thing or apportionment of expenses. So these kind of utilities might be available in international or reputed ERPs, but may not be available with ERPs developed by local or small players. So again, so ERPs could be very simple to very complex. People have also created industry-specific ERPs, let us say for the dairy industry, for the logistics industry, etc. Right? Now, ERPs typically...
Time is up, so if you can start wrapping up. Yeah?
Yeah, okay, fine. So then there is things about ownership of code. I mean, there are open source ERPs, there are proprietary ERPs, ERPs that are now available as a in SaaS model, right, where the data and everything, the software is kept in the cloud, and you can just kind of take it from there and use it. And these are some of the companies that are internationally renowned for their ERPs, right? Now, Sage is a low-end ERP. SAP, Infor, Microsoft Dynamics, Oracle, PeopleSoft, these are very renowned ERPs. Now, there are some companies also have multiple versions of their ERPs or different kind of products, right? So, for example, Oracle has JD Edwards, which is very good for manufacturing. It also has its e-business suite, right? Similarly, Microsoft Dynamics has D365. SAP has SAP B1 for smaller businesses, SAP S/4HANA for larger businesses. So this is it. If there is time, I can take one more slide. Otherwise, I'll end it here.
Yeah, you can pause and then let's see. Let's take it in the Q&A and we'll take it further.
Okay,
yeah?
right.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Rajneesh. Let's appreciate Rajneesh. Thank you very much. You can stop your screen sharing, and then as you take response, if you need to use the screen again as you respond to the questions, you can do that.
Right. Okay.
So thank you very much once again, Rajneesh, and the floor is open. If anybody wants to ask some questions, please go ahead. Giri, go ahead.
Yeah. Rajneesh, I want to know.
Wait, Upma,
Okay, sorry. Giri, you go first.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a couple of questions. I'm far away from academics and such theoretical understanding. Never dealt with these. Maybe way back in my teens. But very curious question. Okay. Can you give me an example for LIFO?
Example for LIFO. I don't recollect it offhand, right? But yes, there are occasions when companies want to use LIFO.
I understand. We use LIFO, FIFO in the same breath, but I do not get to have much of examples. Okay, if you don't have it, fine. Another one basic question coming from the field that I am from in terms of attitudes. Where does personal excellence show up in an ERP software for a user, for a group user, like 10 or 15 people using in an office? And you say it is, you do what you are told to do. There is no fraud. Everything else seems to be jacketed. In that place, how do I shine out?
I don't get your question because all we are saying is, look, what ERP is doing it is digitizing the workflow processes.
Yeah, I
Right?
don't think.
And within a company, there are good performers, there are bad performers. The performance appraisal is there in HR module, where just like physically when you do a appraisal and capture it on documents, it can be captured in the ERP system also, and the data can be stored.
Rajneesh, can I answer it for you?
Personal...
No,
Yeah,
Mohit,
please
don't
go
do
ahead.
that.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Is there a scope for personal excellence in ERP?
Yeah,
That's a simple to ask.
Giri,
Very much there.
attempt to answer it. In the organizations which do not have any ERP system, it is very difficult to measure. First, it's difficult to assign, track, and measure the performance. ERP gives you that that tool in hand, where actually in each individual, how much he was supposed to do and how much he has actually done, it is easily measured. And what gets measured gets improved. Otherwise, so that is where the ERP plays a role.
Quantification of work. What I'm hearing is quantification of work.
Yes. Eventually,
I'm not hearing
quantification is
excellence.
important.
I'm not hearing excellence.
Yeah, Giri, I think I would recommend.
Let's take it offline, Giri.
Yeah,
I'd like to understand your question exactly where you're coming from, right? Because like I said, the performance can be captured, and if a person is doing a good job, that can be captured. So when you say business excellence, what exactly do you mean? I'd like to understand that before responding to it.
Yeah, sometime we can pick up. No issue.
No, we can pick it up tomorrow. I'll take your this thing and I'll message you.
Sure.
And then, based on the discussion, I'll come back to the group and share our discussion in the group, so other people can also learn about it.
Right, Ms. Shriyan.
Thank you.
Upma, you had a question.
Just I wanted in 2 lines, if I have to understand, what does ERP do? What would you say to a layman? Like,
two things, Upma. Like I said in my presentation, one, it provides a central database, right?
okay.
To explain what it means. See, earlier when people had different different software, like for example, today you're using email system. So whenever you submit a proposal to the customer, you receive a confirmation from the customer. It's stored in an email, right? Today, your email system can be integrated in an ERP, so that data can flow in an ERP, and the ERP becomes a repository for all the data in the company in a consistent format. So all the data on what the company is producing, what the company has sold, what the company has purchased, how many people are working, who is working, what is their salaries, what their performance has been,
It's sort of
everything is
everything about the company together on a same platform and
Yes.
accessible to everyone in a way of the.
Yes, depending
Right.
on your roles and access
Yeah.
rights.
Okay.
So if you're allowed to access, you can access the data.
And it
right?
does take care of supply chain also?
Yes, supply chain also. So that is the biggest advantage, because earlier what would happen is, I don't know if people who remember, you could have some data on DBase or Foxbase. You could have some data on some other format, right? Some data on Excel.
I'll give you an example. In our industry where garments are made, the data is shared from now the fabric is sourced to the person who makes it, puts on the data that we have manufactured this, designers put in their designs, and I think all the partners can see it, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's also.
So even merchandiser. So for example, merchandising is very difficult and tracking. So if you have a good ERP which is implemented well, depending based on how well the person has understood the requirements of the company, you can check all that.
Now
So
I
that is
relate.
one. Yeah.
Okay, it's been
So
there
that
in
is
the
one
parallel
advantage
industry
of
now for 10 years. Minimum
Yeah.
10 years, there are companies doing that. Minimum 10 years.
Like Shahi Exports, etc. have been doing it.
Everyone.
Orient Craft also.
Everyone
Right.
now, the brands also. Okay, I got you.
Yes.
I got you. Okay.
So that is one part of it. The second part of it is your workflow processes. See, typically what would happen is, like I gave you an example, right? In a company, somebody wants something. So he will typically go and request the purchase department that I want this material. Purchase department would send out RFQs saying, look, we want this material, give us the quotes, right? So earlier, all this was done manually by people in different, again, different formats, etc.
Departments.
Right? Yeah, different departments, different formats. Now what happens is, all of it can be digitized. So you don't have to fill a form, right?
Yes.
You just go online and send in a request saying, look, I need this material. The procurement department will receive it. The procurement officer will receive it. He can check it in the inventory online whether the material is available or not. If it is available, it can be issued to you. If he has to procure it, he has his vendors listed on the system for it. Look, I want to buy a camera. Okay, these are the 3 camera suppliers I have on my list. Or these are the 3 fabric suppliers I have. Right? He can actually reach out to them, or accessories suppliers, whatever. So he reaches out to them. He gets a quote from them that can be evaluated on the system itself, approved on the system.
So
So you
ERP
don't
is a
require any
platform.
paper. You don't require any paper. It is a platform.
Yes, yes. Got
Right.
that.
So, and then what you can do is you can actually layer other softwares on top of it. Like, for example, there is this, we have a client, Blue Cactus, right, which works with now Amazon, Flipkart, Aditya Birla Group, etc. And they have actually created another software on top of it to help the merchandisers. Right, so merchandisers
They're
can track.
customizing the client's requirement.
Yeah, so they can track, because what they've done is they've given access to the vendors onto that platform, not to the ERP, because of security reasons.
Yes.
So vendors can put in their day-to-day production against a particular order. They let the company know that, look, today we have shipped it.
Very good. Very good. Yeah.
So merchandiser is in kind of complete control. He knows what needs to be pushed and where is it that the person can sit back.
No,
Right?
yeah, got you.
Yep.
I got you.
Okay.
So now when you're
So
sharing
let's-
this,
Yeah,
what
so
what
let's
would
move
you
on,
want?
Upma.
Can I just ask one last question?
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
So, Rajneesh, if we can reiterate, ERP is basically streamlining all of your operations from point A
Right.
to point Z based on the
Right.
customer requirement and objective they want to achieve in
Right.
terms of efficiency,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
great. Thank you very much, Rajneesh.
Yeah.
And Rajneesh, if you can share your contact details in the,
I'll do that. I'll put the presentation also on this group.
no, you put the presentation on the LinkedIn group.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
And I'll
and then
also
you
then
can
share
share
some
your
of our
contact details
blogs.
here and we can take it
Yeah.
forward from there. But
So
thank
we've
you very
written some
much.
blogs which are there on our website, which I'll share as well,
Yeah,
which will
thank you.
better idea to people.
Perfect, perfect.
Okay.
So thank you very much. This was the first presentation in this community. So let's again appreciate Rajneesh for stepping up and putting in the efforts. Thank you very much. And Rajneesh, I think it was quite informative for people who haven't been accustomed to it. Many of us might have been users, but now they can see it from a different perspective. So thanks for upgrading our understanding of the ERP world.